I'm now calling to order a regular meeting of the City Council, Tuesday, May 13th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Councilman Rogancy,
Here.
Councilwoman McGee,
Here.
Councilman Dwyer,
Here.
Councilman Boyke,
Present.
Councilman Noonan,
Present.
Councilman Lafferty.
Here.
Moore is present. We have a quorum.
Next item.
Adoption of the agenda, of the consent agenda, so moved.
Support Lafferty with discussion.
Discussion, Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you. I'd like to remove from the consent agenda items 4Q and 4R.
Any additional discussion? I want to remove item R.
Hold, he already did,
Oh, thank you.
and 4R.
Any additional discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is adoption of the agenda, so moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you. Adding under council business 12D, Councilman Boyke, an update regarding the weed and grass program. 12E, update regarding the Pine Brook lawsuit. 13K, consideration and adoption of a resolution accepting the review panel recommendation to award bond counsel and approval of a letter of engagement with Miller Canfield. What was 4Q will now be 4L. What was 4R will now be 13M.
Any additional discussion?
Madam Chair, what was the award of bond counsel? What item is that?
13K.
13K, thank you.
Okay, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Patrick, on our monitors, there's no camera streaming at the moment. I don't know if it's recording. Okay, next item.
Next item is calendar of pending matters. Motion to receive and file with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Yeah, I think there might be an item we're gonna remove, but I haven't had a chance to discuss it with Mr. Lafferty, so we'll wait till next meeting to deal with that if we can.
I wanted to renew my request for the dog ordinance. This item was on here from November. It's sitting with the Animal Welfare Commission. This has been ongoing for 6 years. So I would ask that the Animal Welfare Commission review it, and if the city attorney's office could send over something by June 6th. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is approval of the bills of the general revenue fund, so moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 7B, approval of the bills of the water and sewer system, so moved.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 7C, general fund revenue report. Motion to receive and file.
Support Lafferty.
Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
7D, General Fund Expenditure Report, March 2025. Motion to receive and file.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
yes,
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is audience participation for agenda items only.
Members of the audience who would like to address City Council this evening may do so by filling out an audience form located to the right side of the stage. This is for agenda items only. You have 3 minutes. If you wish to speak about general topics, we have time at the end of the meeting. First is Ms. Harris. You want to pass? Okay. Okay. End of audience. Next item.
Next item is announcements. 9A, a resolution honoring the Warren Police Department during National Police Week, May 11th through the 17th, 2025.
Oh. Thank you.
Didn't sign.
So I have one that Ms. Camp has for Kevin Fisher. So Kevin, you can come up. If you want to speak, you have to turn it in, Ms. Anker.
No, on agenda items.
Agenda items. Yeah, you have to give it to Ms. Camp. Go ahead, Mr. Fisher.
Hi, my name is Kevin Fisher. I live at 27211 Pembroke Drive. I'm here tonight to advocate for the rebuilding of Cosgrove. This is the last year the city can exercise a warranty. Within the first year that Cosgrove was rebuilt, it started to show signs of scaling and in one situation, cracking at a curb. The erosion was not limited to just the road. It migrated up residents' driveways that the city had replaced. Some were affected more than others. The buildup of the eroded concrete is quite evident as you drive down the street. The theory at the time was more limestone was added to the concrete mixture to reduce CO2 emissions. My concern was the consistency of the mixture from truck to truck. It's evident that the erosion varies from the section to section as concrete was poured from different cement trucks at different times. Fast forward to this year, the erosion was definitely worse. The amount of concrete material that built up along the curbs was much greater than last year at this time. The crack at the curb has progressed. I would suspect that section will break off within 2 to 3 more years. Not only that, but new cracks have appeared on the apron and street level of a resident's home. It looks like the cracks at the street level are following the curb line. Grinding and sealing this road won't fix those problems. It's just not scaling. It's cracking in less than 3 years. We need to step up our game and quit settling for less. The city's quality control methods need to improve to prevent this from happening again. Knowing that the formulation had changed should have resulted in a higher level of testing and monitoring of batches coming from the supplier. I understand core samples were taken from the roads that showed spalding. I understand, excuse me. I don't know if Cosgrove was one of those streets. What I would suggest is on-site slump testing. Not only will this ensure consistency with the batches, will ensure strength, and another big one, durability. Waiting for the 3rd year to check on a completed road project is a little risky. What happens if the proposed fix doesn't work and the warranty is now expired? Who's on the hook? I can't imagine if we built cars with that same quality philosophy. Please keep in mind that the Concrete Association of Michigan exists to promote the concrete industry, not taxpayers. As reported on Channel 7, they recommended grinding and sealing for 2 reasons. 1, it's less expensive, but for who? And 2, to reduce the inconvenience to the residents.
You're at time, Mr. Fisher.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gloria Sanker.
This is regarding item 13B. The mayor is requesting water rate increase. Another one, we just had one not long ago. Is it really necessary to charge more and more for already inflated utility rates? Water's not a choice, it's a necessity. Don't charge a late fee. Give seniors a grace period to pay before charging more for their bills. When the seniors pay late, there's probably a good reason. One, they're probably short of money that month. Two, Social Security check maybe didn't come in on time, or outstanding bills left the home budget depleted. Why are you punishing the seniors with a late charge? Most seniors don't work because of age and disability. Let's not add to the difficulties of their lives. We are getting all that money from the unlimited pot shops that you approved. Why not at least give seniors a break? When you have increased bills, you get a second job. You perhaps get a raise or an increase from your employment. Seniors don't have that option. They have a fixed income, and the more you take from them, the less they have for food and medicine. Be creative. Help those who really can't help themselves. You and I drink a lot of bottled water. Seniors can't. That's an added expense. Many take less showers because of the cost of water. I hope you will consider our seniors that make up the bulk of our citizenry and deny the increase recommended by the mayor for a water rate increase. I don't think it's been a year since the last increase. Don't burden those who are already burdened. Take a ride down to the South End. Really, can they afford another water rate increase?
Thank you. That is the end of audience. Next item.
Next item is 9A, a resolution honoring the Warren Police Department during National Police Week, May 11th through the 17th, 2025, and remembering fallen officers. Motion to approve with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you. We attended last week the annual memorial service at the FOP. Mr. Lafferty sang the national anthem, as he usually does. The Police Honor Guard was there, Commissioner Hawkins, and many dignitaries from the police department and the city paying tribute to our fallen officers and police officers and recognizing them all through the country, not just here. I will read the resolution, even though we've already given it to you. Whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated the week of May 11th through 17th, 2025 as National Police Week and May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day to honor law enforcement officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty and to recognize the dedicated service of police officers nationwide. And whereas the Warren Police Department faithfully serves and protects the residents of the city of Warren with courage, professionalism, and an unwavering commitment to justice. And whereas it is with solemn respect and deep gratitude that the Warren City Council honors the memory of Police Officer Edward Rhea, who was killed in the line of duty on March 3rd, 1969, and Sergeant Christopher Michael Wooters, who was killed in the line of duty on October 11th, 2000. And whereas Officer Rhea and Sergeant Wooters exemplified the highest ideals of public service and made the ultimate sacrifice in the performance of their duties, and their legacy continues to inspire the officers who serve today. And whereas the City of Warren stands in solidarity with the families, friends, and colleagues of those fallen heroes and expresses our collective appreciation for their courage, dedication, and selflessness, and whereas the Warren City Council further acknowledges all members of the Warren Police Department for their ongoing service and reaffirms our respect and support for the law enforcement community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Warren City Council does hereby honor the men and women of the Warren Police Department during National Police Week, May 11th through the 17th, 2025, and especially recognizes the lives and legacies of Officer Edward Rhea and Sergeant Christopher Michael Wooters. Be it further resolved that the council encourages all residents of Warren to take this time to reflect upon the sacrifices made by law enforcement personnel and to express appreciation for the work they do every day to keep our city safe. And police officers in the room,
All in favor?
thank you for what you do. And ladies and gentlemen in the audience, there are lapel pins in honor of Police Week. If you'd like one, please help yourselves. I have one other item. The Warren Symphony is having their last concert of the season on May 18th. Dvorak Symphony Number 9. It's at 3 p.m. at the Warren Woods Middle School Auditorium. We'd love to see you there. Thank you.
Any additional announcements? Ms. McGee?
I do have an announcement that the City of Warren is having their upcoming Skilled Trades Fair. As you know, we are going through the process of making sure that we do all we can to hire not only just police officers and dispatchers, but they all will be attending on the 21st of May at our Warren Community Center, along with the additional, we have over 27 skilled trades in the state of Michigan that will be attending also on the 21st. It will be at the Warren Community Center from 1 to 7 p.m. on Wednesday, May the 21st, and we're asking all to come out. If you are 18 and above, you can apply for the skilled trades positions, and these are earn as you learn. You are getting paid while you learning a new skill in an apprenticeship program. And so I put the information at the end of the stage here to the right. For all those who are interested in coming, please make sure you tell your organizations, your churches, your schools all about the skilled trades that will be, again, on May the 21st from 1 to 7 p.m. All are welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Noonan?
Thank you. The Warren Garden Club, branch of the Women's National Farm and Garden Association, Plant Exchange, is Saturday, May 17th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to noon. And it's at First United Methodist Church in the east parking lot, which is at 5005 Chicago Road between Ryan and Mound Road. Bring healthy plants that you need to thin out and take home some new beauties for your yard. There will be a few plants for those who don't have any to exchange. All plants are free.
Thank you. Any additional announcements? Okay, next item.
Next item is 10A, which is a public hearing request to confirm and review special assessment roll number 541 for the demolition of a house and garage located at 7003 Westminster through the nuisance abatement program.
I don't see Mr. Lizet. Are you speaking on this, Mr. Mazzarelli?
This is just an SAR. I believe the house has already been torn down.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Let's see, anyone from the petitioner? No? Okay. I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience who would like to speak on the matter? Okay, I will close the public hearing, turn it over to council for action.
Motion to approve.
Support Lafferty.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Brogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 11A, proposed amendment to Chapter 25 of the Warren Code of Ordinances relating to personnel and civil service, first reading. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have been in discussions in the last couple of weeks with some of our union friends and learned of the need for this ordinance, the Transparency and Promotions Act. Mr. Schroeder, would you like to explain it? Or would you like, I can read what
Sure. I was part of the discussion and we drafted some language. Most of our personnel ordinances most of chapter 25 has not been touched since the 1960s. We're dealing with some really old, antiquated language, and nobody's bothered to update it over the years. And apparently, there's a thought that some of the things that are decisions that are made in the HR or personnel realm may not be subject to public scrutiny, or they may not have to disclose things. So this is just requiring complete transparency in promotions, transfers, or demotions. Ultimately, my position would be these are public records anyway, but this would clear it up and say, you know, if I got demoted or if someone else got promoted, where was I on the list, where was somebody else? We can't operate in secret. Obviously, if you have an own private company, you can make these decisions and not tell everybody if you don't have civil service rules. So this is just to clarify what should really be the case anyway.
Thank you.
Any additional discussion? Any additional discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12A, Councilmember Jonathan Lafferty, discussion in Ray, update from Warren Police Department regarding security issues and student issues at the Dorothy Bush Branch Library. So moved.
Support Lafferty with discussion.
Discussion, Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you. Through the chair, to recognize Deputy Commissioner Rushton for an update on the situation. For context, the Library Commission voted several months ago to close the branch following dismissal at Fitzgerald High School for a couple of hours each day, and so that has since been rescinded. I understand the situation has improved, so I'd like to ask for the police department's purview and perspective on recent runs and how the situation is operating now.
Yes, I went back, since the library has reopened for the students, we have not had a radio run that involved any students since its reopening. We did have one incident there. It was a domestic violence in nature during a child exchange, and a couple minor runs for an alarm. We have, right now we're having a very good working relationship with the Fitzgerald administration, which has allowed us to, we no longer have an officer there. The school provides an employee that goes over on most days to monitor the situation at the library. And again, as I said, we haven't had one radio run involving students there at least since it's reopened. And actually since before that, since Christmas break, we haven't had any runs involving students.
That is terrific. Well, we certainly thank you and your team for assisting and making sure that the transition from school time to free time is free of any issues and roughness, especially in a quiet place like that. But what I understand too is that it didn't bleed over to neighboring businesses either. So there were no other issues at the Dairy Queen or Eddie's Pizza, anything like that.
No, there hasn't been. As I said, we're working very closely with the school administration. A couple policies were changed that allows the school to enforce certain school rules for students coming and going from school. That has helped greatly, and we appreciate all the help from the school.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mr. Rushton, or Deputy Commissioner Rushton.
Thank you.
And I do have an email that I received from one of the branch library supervisors, Sharon Linsday. She noticed the item on the agenda, and she said, quote, "Today marks 1 month and 1 week that the Bush Library returned to regular hours of service. It's my pleasure to report that students are using the library daily, and the number of students has increased. Teens stop at the circulation desk to sign in. They leave their school ID and willingly follow the required procedures to the letter. 3 weeks ago, they had 19 students sharing the library space in the designated teen and magazine area. Teens use the computers, subdued conversations take place, and the newly installed resource officer Barnes at Fitzgerald walks with the teacher around the campus and talks with teens and staff. They credit the Warren police officers, Commissioner Hawkins, Deputy Commissioner Rushton, and the new acting Superintendent Fournier for having a positive influence on their students. So looks like a very well thought through and collaborative effort has paid off. So thank you to all who were part of this effort. Absolutely.
Thank you. Motion to receive and file that, I guess. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next item.
Next item is 12B, Councilmember Jonathan Lafferty, discussion in Ray Engineering to provide warranty status update on roads subject to spalling and deterioration defect. So moved.
Support Lafferty with discussion.
Discussion, Mr. Lafferty.
Through the chair to Ms. Gapshus. A year ago, many of you may recall that this issue was featured on Channel 7 News.
That's correct.
And most recently today, there was a follow-up story ahead of this, and so I'd like to ask for an update from you, Ms. Gapshus, to understand the issue. I understand that you attended a conference recently where you obtained a lot of good information.
That's
I'd like
correct.
to hear everything you have to tell us about the issue, and then we can have a short discussion.
Sure. Well, good evening, everyone. First, I just kind of want to go back 3 years and explain how the situation happened. As the resident mentioned, Eagle did put new restrictions on the cement manufacturing industry, and in response, they added more limestone to their cement mix, creating a new cement mix called Type 1L. So this cement mix it sets faster and it requires a rougher finish. So there was a learning curve for many of the concrete contractors out there. It's more prevalent on local roads because they did a finer finish. So the spalling is more noticeable on those roads. On major roads, they do a rough finish, and the spalling was not a problem. Only the top 1/8 inch of concrete has spalled in certain areas for projects poured in 2022. Not only in Warren, so I want to emphasize this is a statewide problem. So surrounding cities have this issue. It's not just local to Warren. It's not just common to one contractor. It's all contractors that had this issue. Similar situation did happen 20 years ago. MDOT introduced slag into the cement mix. Same thing happened. There was a learning curve, spalling issues, but those roads are still structurally safe today. So the spalling did stop in that situation. So now what we are doing 3 years later, for all 2022 projects, we have put contractors on notice for the spalling issues and all warranty issues. Warren has a 3-year warranty in all of our road projects, which is a lot more than most communities. Most communities do a 1 or 2 year. So the first thing we do is put them on notice. Per the contract language, the warranty expires 3 years after the final payment. So in all these areas that have the spalling issues, the warranty expires in January of 2026 or even later. So we do have the entire construction season to make decisions on what we're going to do about this situation. Core samples, I went ahead and had core samples done on several of the roads that are experiencing spalling issues. I did get the compressive strength tests back, and they all came in at 4,500 PSI or greater, some even at 6,000 PSI. Our minimum standard is 3,500 PSI. So that tells me that there is no impact on longevity. The concrete underneath the spalling issue is structurally safe and strong. So all of the concrete under the spalling, the top 1/8 inch, in residential roads, it's 7 inches. So 6 and 7/8 inches of concrete are structurally sound. And this issue is aesthetic. When we put all contractors on notice, not all contractors have responded yet. We did it 2 to 3 weeks ago. I did have one contractor respond saying that he'll seal the areas. I've also spoken with all of the surrounding communities, engineering departments, and they have all dealt with it in different ways, either sealing, grinding, combination of both. extension of warranty, which I'm, really looking into that right now, because to me, that seems like the best idea. It sets parameters as to how bad of the spalling and how much of the area of the slab is spalled as to whether it constitutes replacement. And these situations I will go over with the contractor and testing company on a case-by-case situation. That's all I had.
Thank you, Ms. Gapshis. First question that I have for you, you answered a number of my questions already, but
Okay.
just to ensure that I heard correctly, so our warranty expires January 2026 or thereafter when we make the final payment?
Yes, they're all different, the final payments, but
Mhm. Yeah,
Yes.
they're spread out based on when we
Correct.
approved. The next question I have is, you had mentioned the pressure tests. Now, and I said this on the news, I'm not an engineer. I rely on you. I have the utmost respect for you and your team.
Thank you.
And this should not at all be a detriment to the good work that you do. We understand that there are issues from time to time, and it's more important on how we address them, how we work with them, how we work through them, and understand what can be done. My purpose with this update tonight is to ensure that we're protecting our investment in these roads, that we're not going to have an issue 5 or 10 years later and, oh shoot, we should have done something during the warranty period. Could you explain the significance of the pressure test?
the compression test.
Compression test, yes.
That tests the strength and durability of the concrete. So when these tests come back at these high numbers, and concrete keeps curing, it keeps getting stronger and stronger as years go by. It just tells me that this is not a longevity problem. This is something that's when the spalling finishes, it's going to be done, and the road's still going to be safe there.
Okay, so,
I also do want to assure that on the 3-year warranty period, if there's cracks and on the approaches or roads, that gets replaced. The cracks are included in the warranty. So I just want to reassure that.
okay. And we've taken advantage of that. I know a couple of times you've been up here to have concrete replaced that either completely failed. And in fact, one
Correct.
happened on Cunningham, right next door to me. The concrete cured, it was a different color from everything else.
Okay, so
And-
that's a failure, and so that's what I was saying about the compression tests. When they come back, the strengths come back good, and there's no deep cracks or deep divots or like different color, like you said,
Mhm.
then concrete is good.
All right. Now, I know that, the Concrete Association saying this is affecting multiple municipalities, and, as it should be, my concern is here at home,
Of course.
ensuring all of our
Mine
roads.
too,
As
yeah.
yours is too, yes, I know, your dedication speaks for itself. Is there any discussion amongst the different municipalities on a concentrated effort here? I know you discussed 2 different remedial efforts, the diamond grinding and the sealing. The diamond grinding, does that just bring it down to what would be the level of the cement after a certain number of years? So you're kind of,
Yes.
you're etching away that top layer,
That's correct.
and
yes.
you're accelerating that so that you're down to what would normally be there after 10 years?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so I'm understanding that correctly.
Mhm.
All right. Now, the sealing is the exact opposite. You're trying to preserve what's
Right, so that's
what's
why
there?
most you would grind first and then seal. You can also just seal first and it'll prevent future, further spalling. Mhm.
Okay. And my neighbor, Mr. Fisher,
Mhm.
who provided some footage of, you could see his foot pushing, large amounts of that top 1/8 layer. I mean, it was a very thick patch of it that was in the gutter of the street.
Right.
Your expectation and your monitoring, does that indicate that should decrease?
Yes, that should decrease. That's why the extension of the warranty is what I'm favoring. So we can monitor it further and make sure that it stops.
All right,
And also give it a parameter, you know, say if it scales more than a half inch, then it's gotta be replaced. Give it, you know, and more than 10% of the slab, or, you know, give it parameters so the contractor knows what's expected of him.
okay. So this is what I really wanted to get out of this, is how do we measure the success of, or the failure of these roads? And so what you're talking about is providing a metric that we can measure these by surface area versus just saying, it's very easy for me to say, I want the road replaced. I don't like the way it looks. I think it looks like poor quality, but we also have to think, you know, the larger numbers and you know, and you and I've had a conversation about this. You have to prove to me that replacing the road is not the sole option here.
Yes, that's
So, from where I sit, do you need direction from council for, in the form of a motion, to go back to the contractors or to develop these metrics, or is that something you're going to present to us at a later date?
I will present that, and maybe a motion will be needed for the extended warranty, I'm not sure.
Okay. For the extended warranty, based on what you're able to secure, I would like to see that at least 90 days ahead of the warranty expiration.
Sure.
That way we have sufficient time, Mr. Schroeder, Ms. Michaels can work together and
Yeah.
ensure that we've got everything covered there.
Okay.
Beyond that, my wife and I walk up and down Cosgrove quite often. I've seen the same issue that Mr. Fisher has mentioned. And Mr. Conlon, if you've got the one photo that I showed you, the spalling, if he can put that up, there it is. This on the sidewalks that were replaced is probably the most prevalent on, you know, compared to the road. The road, it's pretty even across the entire road. I had a dozen pictures, but
Right.
one picture shows the
Right.
issue.
More on the east side, it seems like.
It seems to be.
Mhm.
But what I'm seeing is along the entire approach, and then on many, not most, but many of the sidewalk slabs, it is, so I think it may meet your surface test metrics that, you know, considerable area has been compromised and may warrant replacement. So if there are many examples that you want to draw from, Cosgrove probably has quite a few that can help you develop those metrics.
Okay.
Beyond that, we stand ready, I stand ready to make sure we hold our contractors accountable. I know that we had discussion 2 weeks ago when we met and talked about Bunnert and, you know, exploring warranty options there. And, you know, I understand that there was some concerns regarding the sewer infrastructures, maybe sinking already. Number of concerns. I'm not sure if it's all limited to one contractor or, you know, based on who's doing the concrete being used.
For Bunnert, is
Mhm.
one contractor, yes.
Okay. Is it the same one that did Cosgrove?
Yes,
Okay, so it's Zuniga.
yes.
Okay. All right, so just more things to keep in mind then.
Of course, yeah.
All right, I will yield for the moment. Ms. Gapchis, thank you. With all
You're
respect,
welcome.
thank you for your effort. I appreciate you, we appreciate you, and you know, this is a healthy discussion to ensure that we're doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Madam President, through the chair.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yeah, in regards to Cosgrove, you say you've got the contractors, you're putting them on notice, they're checking out the roads to see what's going on with the spalling,
Yes.
but you're also putting them on notice for the approaches to a lot of these residents, because there's probably 15 to 20 different approaches that are just in horrible condition from the spalling. And there's, like our resident was saying, Mr. Fisher was saying, it's starting to crack. And I mean, if this does not get addressed, like with these approaches, I think matters are gonna get progressively worse. And we don't want to run into a situation where all of a sudden we're out of warranty.
Right.
So-
Cracks are covered under the warranty for sure, so.
So when they're out there checking out the roads, they're also looking at the
Yes.
sidewalks and the
Oh, and
approaches?
every part of the road project, yes.
Okay, that's all I have. I yield.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Boyke?
just a follow-up question on the, good evening, first of all.
Hi,
On the PSI, the core sampling that you did,
yes.
being that they used a new material in this product, there's probably no studies if that PSI is gonna hold up 5 years from now, or it could, deteriorate faster
Well,
than what it should.
I mean, I guess
I
you
mean-
could say that about anything, but, I mean, strength is a strength. I mean, that's concrete, it's still concrete.
Yeah,
It's-
and the concrete takes years to cure.
It is a new material, you're correct, but, I mean, if
I
the
mean, if-
strengths are increasing, at the time that we place the pavement, we have it, strength tested as well. And it has to be 3,200 PSI for us to open the road up.
Okay,
And then it tells me that it's continually getting stronger and stronger, which concrete should do. So it
All
is
right.
behaving like regular concrete.
thank you for educating me.
Sure.
That's why you're the engineer.
Uh,
It goes up rather than go down, the PSI strength.
Yes, it keeps
Okay,
going
well,
up.
thank you very much.
Mhm.
Anything further? Okay, thank you, Ms. Gapshes.
Thank you. Have a good
Let's
evening.
see, motion to receive and file. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item.
Next item, Council Secretary Mindy Moore, discussion in Ray presidential visits. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of weeks ago, the president came to town, and other presidents have come in the past, and candidates, and all sorts of dignitaries. We expend a great deal of resources and money to support these visits, from police, fire, DPW, we have drones now that monitor from the airport down to Warren. We have to have a squad. I believe the president has to have an EMS squad, so we have a squad that travels with the president from the time they land till they come to Warren. There's always a squad inside a facility, outside, high security. Number one, I would like to know what the cost is to the city for that day or similar days, police, fire, DPW, and is there a mechanism, and are we going to try to be reimbursed for those charges? It's too much to ask us to carry that burden. I heard one visit, a couple years ago was almost $80,000. That's a lot of money for one day, and when we're struggling to try to balance our budget and spread resources across many departments. So I would like to know from police, fire, DPW, what your costs were for the day, and if we have a policy, or maybe we should develop a policy that we could at least try. I don't know if you go through the Secret Service. I think I've heard other cities petition the Secret Service. Apparently there's a portal where you can submit to be reimbursed for some of those charges. I think if somebody's coming that is not a sitting president, we should probably get, if we're providing security, we should get some sort of down payment. Certainly a president has the right to come, I believe, anywhere they want to in the country and visit. But I think we could say no to other people if it presents too big of a security risk and it depletes our resources or overburdens our system. So I'd like to know the cost of just this last one because it's fresh, and then to see if we can come up with some policy or find out a way to maybe recoup some of those expenses. That's it. So I would like to send this over to the administration, police department, fire department, DPW. I don't know if other departments were involved, probably somebody. Right. So that would be my motion to just send this to the administration.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes,
Mr. Noonan?
Yes,
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Brogan C is yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12D, Councilman Boyke, discussion regarding the weed and grass ordinance.
Madam Chair, through the chair, I'd like
Motion to approve.
Support Lafferty.
Thank you. Mr. Boyke.
Madam Chair, through the chair, I'd like to recognize David Mazzarelli, Public Service Director.
Good evening again, everyone.
Good evening. Well, it's springtime, and when springtime comes, it comes with high grass and the dandelions, they're abundant. We had a conversation earlier today, and the information you relayed to me was very significant, and I thought I'd bring the residents up to date on how the ordinance is working that was recently passed, how it affects the dandelions, and what your department is doing to take care of the problem.
Thank you. Yeah, last week was the first full week of the new ordinance. Over 1,000 houses were tagged. We had a 75% compliance rate. So that means by the time they came back to recheck the houses, 75% of them had already cut the lawn. So that's exactly what we were hoping for. Our goal here is to make sure that everybody gets their lawn cut in a reasonable time. What we didn't anticipate was so many people not cutting their lawns, so we weren't able to canvass the entire city in those 3 days. So this week they're focusing on the areas that they didn't get to last week. From what I'm understanding after talking to the contractor, they're experiencing the same thing that they did last week though, but the people it's a compliance thing. We're not to say it's not running perfectly. There's a little bumps here and there, but we're figuring them out. The guys in property maintenance are outstanding at helping us with that problem and transferring everything over. There's a couple of hiccups here and there, but we're working through it, and we're making sure that the lawns are getting cut, and that's what this ordinance is for, and it's working.
Have we been cutting any lawns that people that are not in compliance?
Absolutely. We cut about 250 lawns last week.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, thank you, Mr. Mazzarelli.
Good job, Mr. Mazzarelli.
Thank you.
Motion to receive and file that item. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item.
Next item is 12E, update on Pine Brook litigation. Motion to approve with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
We could ask Mr. Schroeder.
Discussion. Mr. Schroeder, go ahead.
Yes, the Pine Brook litigation are the marijuana lawsuits that have existed since 2019 in the city. So this goes back to the city council that was elected in 2015 for a 4-year term. And this council inherited really what was a mess of litigation involving a couple dozen marijuana facilities suing the city over Open Meetings Act violations and other issues. I am pleased to report that after recent actions of the city council related to the ordinance, that the city is now out of litigation for the first time in 5.5 years. The Supreme Court case was dismissed, the Circuit Court case has been dismissed, and I just want to thank the council. I want to thank Ms. Michaels from the city attorney's office and Ms. Andrea Pike, who is the city's litigation counsel on this matter, for bringing together divergent interests to come up with a solution that actually solved a big problem. This cost the city, the legal fees were over $1 million, and it wasn't accomplishing anything. And you inherited this mess and helped clean it up. So thanks to the council and all the parties that worked with us to resolve it.
Thank you, Mr. Schroeder, for all your help. We certainly appreciate it, and that was one of the things I would bring up. Some people have been critical of legal bills, but one of the things Mr. Schroeder had to step in and represent the council through this litigation as well, because there were certain judges that wanted council people present for, was mediation we had to go and spend days there, and so we had to have legal representation with us. So we also had to pick up, the council office had to pick up the tab for that. The taxpayers pay it, but it came out of our budget. And we truly, truly appreciate what you did. Mary Michaels, thank you, and Andrea Pike. It's been a long time coming, and I'm so glad it's over. Thank you.
Madam President,
Mr. Noonan.
it's not exactly directly relevant to what you just said, but congratulations on the win. and that's really good. I found out since that time that it's illegal for police to pull over people for just the smell of marijuana coming from their car. I think that's accurate. Have you heard that?
What I heard, Councilman, what I read, actually I didn't hear it, I read it, was the Michigan Supreme Court, so this is in Michigan, held that, you know, just the smell of marijuana doesn't create the reasonable suspicion to do a larger search. So that's the Michigan Supreme Court. But we are certainly hoping this is not allowed, not to be smoking in your car. You know, that is while you're driving. So that is still illegal. And so if it appears the driver's doing that, that's a different story. So, yeah.
Driving under the influence is definitely a hazard, and driving under the influence of marijuana is like driving under the influence of alcohol. And it's a great way to get in an accident, and it's causing a lot of distress to constituents of mine that people are driving, you know, huge plumes of marijuana smoke coming out of their cars. And people need to stop doing that for their own sake as well as for everyone else's. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, we'll receive and file that item as well. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next item.
Next item is 13A, consideration and adoption of a resolution approving the fiscal year 2025-2026 City of Warren General Fund and water budget. Motion to approve with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we conclude another budget cycle, I want to take a moment to extend my sincere thanks to my colleagues for their time, effort, and thoughtful contributions throughout this process. While Councilman Lafferty and I led the initiative, every council member played a meaningful role and brought valuable insights to the table. We are especially grateful to Controller Rick Fox, Assistant Controller Mark Knapp, and Budget Director Chris Battle. Their support, responsiveness, and commitment were instrumental at every step of the way, making this a truly collaborative effort. To the mayor and department heads, thank you for your transparency and for engaging with council inquiries in a timely and constructive manner. Thank you also goes out to our labor unions. Once again, your input was invaluable and helped guide us toward informed and responsible decisions. A very special thank you to the council's special counsel, Jeff Schroeder, for your invaluable insight and advice, and we really appreciate you even wrote an ordinance on the spot, which is actually on the agenda tonight, to address concerns expressed by one of our commissioners. And of course, our sincerest appreciations goes to the Heart of Council office, Mary Camp and Nicole Jones, for managing scheduling, coordinating remote access, and making sure we were well fed. Here's a brief overview of our process and our approach. We conducted a thorough review of the budget, made targeted reductions where possible, and invested where necessary. We benchmarked our wage rates against those of similar cities to ensure we remain competitive. We recognize ongoing concerns with overtime in the police and fire departments. To address this, we have increased their overtime allocations to more realistic levels, but we also expect concerted efforts from both departments to improve management of these costs. In the police department, understaffing continues to drive excessive overtime. In the fire department, required training and daily personnel absences are contributing factors. To help mitigate this, we've added a new fire training officer role with the expectation that it will reduce reliance on overtime. If we don't see progress, we will reassess the need for that position in next year's budget. For years, we've discussed efficiency proposals brought forward by union leadership, ideas such as a dispatch incubator program to support first responder recruitment and shared use of facilities like dispatch, the gun range, and training centers to reduce costs through interdepartmental collaboration. Council has formally requested funding of these initiatives through our lobbyists, and our legislators have submitted them for consideration in the state budget. We are trying to do our part to gain funding for some of these initiatives. To support all documents, we've also funded an efficiency consultant to help identify ways to streamline operations and reduce overtime. We strongly encourage the mayor to make full use of this resource. In our review, we found that several department leaders were significantly underpaid. We have addressed this by adjusting a few key salaries. Simultaneously, we trimmed overtime and tightened line item spending in many departments based on historical trends and actual needs. Additionally, we are anticipating $1.2 million in new revenue from licensing fees for recreational marijuana dispensaries, which is being incorporated into this budget. We also urge the administration to take a more aggressive approach in identifying and pursuing grant opportunities. Council is fully committed to supporting these efforts in any way we can. While we've worked diligently and responsibly on this budget, we acknowledge that no budget is ever flawless. Unforeseen needs may arise, and when they do, we encourage departments to bring forward appropriation requests. As always, Council will give thoughtful consideration to all reasonable proposals. My motion to approve the budget includes the following modifications. This will take a while. First, City Council, no changes. 37th District Court, increase the court administrator wage rate to $149,000. This person's an attorney, a magistrate, and the administrator for the court and staff. 40 employees report to her. This adjustment brings the wage rate more in line with what is offered in other cities of similar size, and we're reducing the overtime to $25,000 in the district court. Mayor, we're increasing the chief of staff wage rate to $102,575. The duties of this position, while not called deputy, are equal to the deputy position and should be at the same rate as the other deputy positions in the city. The overtime is being reduced to 0, as there are no employees in the department eligible for overtime compensation. City clerk, increased postage to $88,961.15. This is to cover mailing new voter IDs that are required based on redistricting. The Treasurer's Department, add an accounting supervisor treasurer, $110,000. Reclassify tax accountant 3 to accounting supervisor treasurer. Reclassify investment analyst to tax account supervisor. Reclassify accountant 1 to account administrator treasurer. Reclassify two account technicians to 2 senior tax account technicians. These changes reflect a departmental reorganization, implementing efficiencies and planning for the future. Mr. Fox, if I got any of these wrong, we're just doing what she has in her proposal. And reducing overtime to $5,000 in that department. In the controller, we're increasing the controller wage rate to $149,000. This adjustment brings the wage rate more in line with what is offered in other cities of similar size. We're adding 1 senior payroll technician for $88,797 and adding 1 payroll technician at $68,409. In Warren, the payroll function was historically housed in the controller's office. These changes are to effect the move back to the controller's office. While HR is critical to payroll by providing accurate personnel data, payroll is often housed under the finance department in most municipalities, especially for audit and budget control reasons. And the overtime is being reduced to $30,000. Information systems, increasing the information systems manager wage rate to $125,000. We understand that that may be contingent upon a collective bargaining agreement, letter of understanding. This adjustment brings the wage rate more in line with what is offered in other cities of similar size. Reduce overtime to $35,000. In the legal department, increase city attorney wage rate to $149,000. This adjustment brings the wage rate more in line with what is offered in other cities of similar size. Once again, we are reiterating our request to have a city attorney appointed. We have gone now a year and a half without a city attorney that's been appointed, an official city attorney. That is unheard of, it is unfair, and that needs to be rectified. Reducing the overtime to 0 in legal, assessing, no changes. Human resources, removing assistant human resources director. The department currently consists of only 5 positions, and there is no demonstrated need for an assistant director at this time. A new HR director has recently been appointed. Should the determined that an assistant is needed in the future, a proposal for the position can be submitted during the next budget cycle. Remove one senior payroll technician. This position is being moved to the Controller's office and budget. And remove one payroll technician. This position is being moved to the Controller's budget in their office, and reduce overtime to 0. Property maintenance inspection, no changes. Community and economic development, delete community economic administrator. An economic development director has not yet been appointed. This position should not be established until a permanent director is in place, and any request to add the position should originate from that individual. Reduce community promotions outreach programs to 0. No detailed breakdown has been presented to justify the requested expenditures. A request for an appropriation may be presented to council if in a future date if a need arises. Administrative unallocated, reduce community promotion outreach programs to 0. This should be budgeted at the department level with detailed information provided to ensure transparency. Additional appropriations may be requested if the need arises. Add an efficiency consultant for $50,000. This item is being included in the budget for an evaluation of operations and recommendations for improving efficiency and reducing overtime. Police and Fire Civil Service Commission, no changes. Zoning Board of Appeals, increasing the meeting allowance to 100. The members are spending just a significant amount of time in research and visiting sites and accruing substantial mileage in preparation for the agenda items. Beautification, add community promotion outreach programs, $5,000. This item was inadvertently omitted from the proposed budget. We're just putting that back in. Cultural Commission, no changes. Crime Commission, no changes. Historical Commission, reduce community promotion outreach programs to 0. Reduce Hall of Fame to 0. Due to limited membership, the commission is currently unable to utilize these funds effectively, and ordinance is being introduced tonight to reduce the number of members. Employee Retirement Commission, no changes. Police and Fire Retirement Commission, no changes. Historic District Commission, increasing contractual services to $44,000. This is to cover payment to an architect that is helping in the village district. Senior Health Care Services, no changes. Council of Commissions, no changes. Animal Welfare, reduce the chipping clinic to 500. Reduce community promotion outreach programs to 0. Veterans Advisory and Memorial Commission, no changes. Fire Department. Last year, council approved the Chief Technology Officer. That position has not been filled or acknowledged, but a memorandum of understanding is to be signed and implemented. This position was added last budget cycle. It's been drafted, not signed, but we really need to get this done. Add one training coordinator for $118,293. This position is being added to aid in reducing overtime while addressing the growing need to implement mandated training. If the benefit is not realized in the next budget cycle, we will determine if it is necessary to maintain the position. We're adding one EMS billing specialist and deleting a temporary. The temporary position is being eliminated and the duties transferred to the new full-time position of EMS billing specialist. One fire truck is to be ordered and payment would be budgeted in the year of delivery. There is currently a 4-year lead time on receiving delivery of fire trucks, so they need to be ordered now and then they'll be budgeted in the year of expected delivery. Increase overtime to $1.4 million. The requested increase is intended to cover anticipated overtime costs related to training mandates and other operational demands. The department was allocated $1.3 million in 2025 and has requested $2 million for the current year. The $1.3 million was and is going to be exceeded. The mayor's recommendation of $755,000 is insufficient and does not reflect operational realities. Reducing funding to this level risks taking essential equipment out of service due to inadequate staffing. An efficiency consultant is being added to the budget to evaluate operations and provide recommendations for improving efficiency and reducing overtime. In the police department, reclassify one administrative clerk to one accreditation manager, $65,572. This position is needed to account for the increased workload to maintain accreditation. Deleting one administrative clerk, that position is being reclassified to accreditation manager. Adding one police officer at $95,853. Warren Consolidated Schools has requested an additional resource officer. That position is to cover that request. We're increasing police overtime to $1.5 million. This funding is intended to cover overtime costs resulting from the ongoing staffing shortage in the police department. Last year, the department was budgeted $1.213785, which proved insufficient. For the current year, they requested $2 million. The mayor's recommendation of $1 million is insufficient and does not reflect operational realities. An efficiency consultant is being added to the budget to evaluate operations once again and provide recommendations for improving efficiency and reducing overtime. Capital outlays, we're adding 2 portable LED radar signs for traffic for $9,100. These devices aid in responding to resident traffic complaints and gathering traffic data, etc. Capital outlays adds cellular phone forensics magnet gray key for $47,500. This is an essential tool for investigators working with encrypted or locked devices, ensuring they don't miss critical data that could be crucial for solving cases. This will reduce the time needed to access valuable evidence on mobile devices. At the current time, the police department chooses the most violent crimes, and they have to take a device downtown to one of the federal agencies. They get to it when they get to it, then somebody has to go down. And so actually Ms. Rogancy brought this up in discussions. Well, how many times does that happen a year? Well, we found out it happens 40 to 50 times a year. So that's a police officer going downtown, all the time involved, plus it's valuable time they're losing on solving crimes. And if they had their own, they wouldn't just be picking the most violent crimes. They would be using it for all sorts of crimes. I did talk to a couple other police agencies who have them, and they feel they are invaluable. And they are updated when you get a iPhone 16, 17, they update to meet those needs. Capital outlays, adding laptop supervisors, CMIS, ISM 18 for $27,475. This will allow investigators to work remotely. Animal control, reduce overtime to $8,000. Civil defense, no changes. Department of Public Service, increase wage rate of Director of Public Services to $149,000. That should probably be about $250,000 for the work you put in, Mr. Mazzarelli. We appreciate how hard you are working, and you've got your fingers in just about everything, and you are doing a tremendous job. This adjustment brings the wage rate more in line with what is offered in other cities of similar size. Delete administrative clerk. This position is being transferred to building maintenance. Engineering division, no changes. Building inspections division, add an assistant building and safety engineering director at $102,858. A current employee is already carrying out the duties of this position. In the absence of the director, this will ensure management personnel is in the office in charge of this large department of 28 employees. DPW fleet maintenance, reduce overtime mechanics to $75,000, reduce overtime temporary to $2,500. Building maintenance, add an administrative clerk, $60,967. This position was transferred from Department of Public Service. Add 2 custodians at $44,782. We've found that contractual cleaning is just not adequate. These positions were originally requested in the library department, but we're moving them to the department that actually knows what they're doing in this realm, and this cost will be charged back to the Library Commission. Add 1 billing maintenance specialist. This position is being transferred from the library, and also this cost will be charged back to the Library Commission. Reduce overtime to $25,000. And capital outlays, adding a Warren Monument sign to be at 8 and Mound. We've budgeted $25,000. And this is to replace the sign that was damaged as a result of an accident, I believe. Street lighting, no changes. Planning, no changes. Street maintenance division, reduce overtime to $125,000. Library, increase library wage rate to $145,000. This rate is to be the offering salary cap during the search for a new library director. This wage rate is not to be granted to the current library director. The current director wage rate shall remain $117,691. There were a lot of changes made at sort of the end of the library director's tenure. She is retiring, and the thought is to put them back because some of them don't make sense. There were some positions added for a library that's not even broken ground yet. So once a new director is appointed, we can revisit all of these. They're welcome to come back. There were 4 positions that were given a $17,000 raise, and that sort of raised some red flags to me and something we need to look at. So if I don't get these exactly right, we're dialing back where Mr. Fox. So reduce senior administrative secretary wage to $70,987. Delete 1 branch library supervisor, delete 1 branch librarian, delete 2 library technicians, add 4 office assistants, delete 6 circulation clerks, reduce library assistant outreach grant wage to $68,928. Remove 3 custodian positions. We talked about those before. Those are going to building maintenance, and delete the library building and grounds maintenance specialist. That as well is going to building maintenance. Recreation, reduce the revenue of the downtown ice rink fees to $5,000. This amount proposed just doesn't reflect what the revenues truly are. While there is not a lot of money put into the recreation, it seems in this budget there is money in a fund to fund renovations and park improvements at this time that was put in there in a previous budget cycle. Communications, no changes. Patrick, if you're responsible for this speaker change, hats off to you.
Well done.
We could actually hear everybody at the podium tonight. Fabulous job. Sanitation, reduce revenue, transfer station royalties to 0. The transfer station at this time is not operational. It may be at some point, and we'll recognize certainly those revenues at that time. Rental ordinance fund, no changes. Vice crime confiscation fund, no changes. Drug forfeiture fund, no changes. Act 302, police training fund, no changes. Downtown Development Authority Operations Fund, reduce community promotions and outreach programs to 0. Capital outlays reduced to $8,131,253. Capital outlays, delete coffee sandwich stand at City Hall. This is just not an appropriate expenditure for the DDA. Things like this are supposed to be bid out and all kinds of things. So, capital outlays, delete art, murals, and sculptures. Just no specifics have been presented. Delete facade improvements, no specifics were presented. Again, we don't know where, when, or how this is supposed to be accomplished. And capital outlays, add police department, department-wide wireless internet solution. The police department is in the DDA, and there are areas of the police department that doesn't have Wi-Fi, and $37,536 is being added so that wireless internet can be available to everybody at the police department. 2011 local street road repair and replacement fund, no changes. Indigent defense fund, no changes. Tax increment finance authority construction fund, delete. Cruising 53, delete bike nights with Centerline, delete Owen Jack's renovation. A feasibility study needs to be undertaken before putting more money in this facility. Reduce capital improvements to $500,000, reduce community promotion and outreach to $5,000, and that $5,000 is to be used to fund small business seminars. Ms. McGee, this was your baby. You wanted that to happen, and we hope that. We know there are some opportunities that the Small Business Administration will come in and offer free seminars and things, and this hopefully will facilitate that. And if not, they can come back and ask for more money, because that's a good idea, and we do want that to happen. Senior citizen housing, no changes. Water and sewer system, no changes. 37 District Court Building Renovation Fund, no changes. General Fund revenues, building permits, increase other permits and licenses to $3.1 million. This increase is attributed to the projected fees that will be collected from marijuana dispensaries. And that is it.
Good job, Madam Secretary.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Lafferty?
wanted to recognize the outstanding effort of Secretary Moore. Every single year, this is 6 years running now, that you and I have co-chaired the budget. You take on, I will not take credit for any of this, you take on the lion's share of the work, and it absolutely shows. The dedication, the endless phone calls, meeting after meeting. It doesn't stop at budget hearings, folks. This continues. This is, I'm sure your husband will be excited to get the kitchen table back.
Who's coming tonight?
The expression in the Moore household during budget, it's not who's coming to dinner. And so I just wanted to thank you. I thought the questions that the council asked all of the members, we had a very thoughtful and meaningful discussion at all 3 of our budget hearings. All-day session on Saturday, 2 additional ones, Monday and Tuesday following, and then individual sessions with all of you to go over every single page of the budget. So this was a substantial effort, and the end product is a practice in conservative fiduciary responsibility, and also getting us closer to what our auditors mandated last December in us getting closer to actuals. So a lot of the reductions that Ms. Moore spoke about, anticipated spending, and really examining those and bringing those numbers down, getting us closer to actuals is our target, and we will recognize that there will probably be some amendments, some adjustments that may increase throughout the coming year. That's okay, as we make those adjustments, gets us closer to actuals, and then we'll see what the auditors have to say in 6 months. So, thank you again, Ms. Moore. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Any other discussion? Okay. Hearing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is request to approve amendment to the water and sewer rate ordinance to reflect rates and charges incorporated in the 2026 mayor's recommended budget. This is a second reading. Motion to approve with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Nobody likes to raise rates. We get that. But we realized last year, we'd gone several years with no rate increase at all. And we have infrastructure problems that we have to take care of, and this is just necessary. Nobody likes to do it, but we went too many years without any rate increase at all, and now we're paying, playing catch-up. It's just the nature of this sort of business. So we have a great water system. We have great water here in Warren, and we're lucky to have that. But we know it's expensive. It's a very, very expensive proposition. The wastewater treatment plant is very expensive to run and operate, and it's very complicated. And we have a very expensive replacement of a piece of equipment this year that is $75 million. So, necessarily, the costs of running that are passed on to the residents. So, thank you.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Boyke?
Through the chair to Ms. Moore, further explanation, the rate hike is equivalent to what we were charged as an increase, correct? So we're not asking more, it's just that our water system raised our rate up, and we're just having the same rate, basically.
Mr. Fox is there if you want to. I'm not the expert.
That's the way I heard it during budget, maybe Mr. Fox could explain it a little better than I could.
Good evening, Richard Fox, City Controller. Yeah, so we had a rate increase for the purchase of water that we get of over 5%, and that's basically what we're passing on. As Council Secretary Moore stated, also we have a major project that we're looking at doing this year,
Correct.
to rehab our wastewater treatment plant, $75 million. So we were lucky enough to get we're in the process of, we think we're pretty sure we're gonna get the 2% loan, SRF loan from the state, which will help us pay for that.
What I wanted to get out though is that we're not just putting a rate hike, just raise it for infrastructure. It's also to match what our rate went up with
Sure.
the city. I
Yeah.
mean, with Great Lakes or whatever they're called now.
Like anything, all our costs are going up. What we purchase, our electric, our gas, all those things are going up.
And it's
Yeah.
passed on to the consumer
That's
financially.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam President.
Ms. McGee?
I also I didn't have any questions, I'm sorry,
Okay.
Mr. Fox. I just wanted to let everyone know that there are affordable water assistance programs that are out there through Human Services. At times, we will put that information in your water bill for those who are seniors, who are on a fixed income, or those who have a lower income. There are water assistance programs that you can go through. Macomb Action Program, Community Action Program. I have also placed 211 individual cars on the right side of the stage where you can call 211 and they can also give you information to give you assistance towards your water bill. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13C, consideration and adoption of a resolution amending the ordinance for the City of Warren Capital Improvement Bond Series 2022, first reading. So
Motion.
moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13C, notice of appointment of Wilbert McAdams as Fire Commissioner and Orrin Ferguson as Fire Chief. Madam Chair, discussion. I'm going to make a tabling motion. There are some legal issues regarding the charter on this position that I think we need a little more time. We've been wrapped up in the budget. This is a little poor timing for this for us. So we have about a week, so we'll deal with it at the next meeting. So I would make a motion to table.
Support to table.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes to table.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes to table.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes to table.
Mr. Noonan?
Indeed, yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes to table.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13E, request to confirm appointment of Sultana Chowdhury to the Planning Commission for a term to expire June 30th, 2028.
Madam Chair, motion to deny with discussion.
Support?
Discussion, Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you. I have significant concerns about attendance with this particular member. Ex officio for the last 4 years prior to this term, and seeing the number of meetings. In 2023, attended 9 out of the 11. In 2024, missed 5 meetings. In 2025, so far, missed 2 out of the 5 meetings held. The attendance record speaks volumes for members of our commissions, especially a commission of this importance. We need a full board at all times. All of our petitioners that come to a meeting when there is a full board that is, or a board that is not full, the chair has to make a announcement that a petitioner has the right to delay their petition to be heard until a full board is present. And we have been significantly lacking in the number of planning commissioners that have made a concentrated effort to commit to their oath and ensure that they are there to represent the city and do the business that they've been chosen to do and appointed by this council. So that is the reason for my denial.
Any other discussion?
Madam President,
Ms. McGee?
had, this, individual, I'm sorry, her name,
Sultana Chowdhury.
Chowdhury, have she had any, reasonable excuse of being absent? I'm sorry.
You can call
Could
her if you want.
I'm sorry, I am Sultana Chowdhury. I am the planning commissioner.
Ms. McGee is, you can speak, but Ms. McGee is gonna direct the questioning.
Okay, I had a question regarding the reasons for your absences.
The reason for my absences were some were delayed due to work, and then I had 3 elderly sick family members. My dad had cancer for 4 years. My mother-in-law was in hospice at home, so she had cancer as well, and actually my grandmother too. So it was delayed due to, I couldn't come in due to that. And I did call in for that reason. I had 3 deaths in 2022, all back to back. And I was taking care of my dad, who had terminal cancer, and my mother-in-law, who had cancer as well. But I do commit to coming in, and I have been coming in on a regular basis when I am needed. And I did let them know, and if you guys need doctor's notes, anything, death certificates, anything that can be provided.
Thank you. Anything further?
That'll be all for me.
Thank you. You can, do you have?
Madam Chair, no, I don't have a question
Okay,
for you.
you can have a seat,
Thank you,
Ms.
ma'am.
Chowdhury. Thank you.
One of the things with planning and zoning, they're probably the 2 most important commissions the city has. Petitioners have the option, Mary, you can, or Jeff, you can correct me on this, they have the option, if there aren't enough people at the meeting, they can opt not to have their item heard and wait to another meeting. So when that happens, then that item has to be re-noticed. It's more expense, it's using resources, and that is where the problem is. It's not, you know, a commission where you can just show up when you're needed. I think we probably should figure out what is acceptable. Is 70% attendance acceptable? Probably not. You know, if you showed up at your job 70% of the time, I understand you have had family or things, and we all do, and perhaps this is not, maybe another commission would be easier for you to make than planning, because it is imperative that you be there on a more regular basis. I don't know.
I have been coming in on a regular basis. I did dedicate my time to the community and to the planning commissioner this year. But sometimes due to work, you know, meetings and stuff like that, I am unable to come sometimes, but I do make it a priority to come lately. And this year has been, I've been here more versus the past years due to family issues and my dad being sick and family members being sick.
So 2024 was 70%, and 2025 is 71% attendance. I don't know if that's acceptable or not. You know, I'm not the ex officio on planning. I was on planning commission for a long time ago.
Absolutely.
I was a member myself, and I've not been to meetings for, you know, but 1 or 2 times in the last, okay. He's got an idea.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Lafferty.
the process here with the Q&A with the appointee is highly irregular, number 1.
Yeah.
That's not how we do this. Secondly, I understand the reasons. I'm a compassionate person, but we also have, the city is a business. We have a business to run. We have to make sure that we have people here to make decisions when they're needed. I will offer this compromise to table this item for 6 months. And Ms. Camp, if you can assist with a date, please. For 6 months, attendance will be tracked. We'll measure the attendance, and if you can make your meetings, then I will reverse my motion to deny.
Absolutely.
Council, do you find that agreeable?
I have more to say.
Mr. Noonan has some
Oh, yeah,
questions.
yeah.
Okay, I'll hold on, I'm a motion to table.
She
Mr.
can
Noonan,
continue
go ahead.
She can continue, even if you're, term is
Your mic is
expired.
on.
Sorry. Even if your term is expired, you can continue to serve, correct? Right, so just because we didn't confirm a reappointment, she can still continue to serve, and so,
Mr. Noonan?
Right. I like what we're going, Councilman Lafferty, but I think the larger issue here is attendance is kind of indicative of overall performance, and there's so many things that should be done by a planning commissioner. And we don't have tags on your car following you around to know whether you go to sites. But might I ask, do you go to sites?
Yes, I do, when it's needed, yes. I do review the packages that are sent to my house on Fridays or Thursday evenings, yes.
So when is it needed to go to the sites?
What do you mean?
Well, you say you go when it's needed.
Well, when
I thought it was
when I
like
review
always
the
needed.
No, when I review the packages, I'm going, and as if I need to go visit the sites, and if I have questions, I will go visit the sites as needed. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to table to the date November 18, 2025.
support.
I'll call the question. Mr. Lafferty?
Yes to table.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes to table.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks for being here. 13F, request of the Budget Director for a transfer of funds between line items in the amount of $158,158 and an additional appropriation of funds in the amount of, Mary, what is, $1,067 to provide sufficient funding in several accounts within the general fund for the balance of the 2025 fiscal year. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, anyone? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13G, request of the Library Director for a transfer of funds between line items in the amount of $12,400 to provide sufficient funding for the balance of the 2025 fiscal year. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Noonan.
Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Next item.
Is 13H, request of the Parks and Recreation Director for an additional appropriation of funds in the amount of $309,000 and a transfer of funds between line items in the amount of $240,000 to provide sufficient funding for the balance of the 2025 fiscal year. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion?
Discussion.
Mr. Lafferty?
Thank you. Through the chair to Mr. Casasanta. And somewhat unrelated to the item itself.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. I just wanted to ask for a brief update on when we can expect the new skate park to open.
Okay, we're hoping to have phase 2 completed here. Went out for bids here, so we look to have it open sometime probably late July. Is kind of what we're looking at.
Awesome.
If everything goes right, the weather's right, and everything else is in the right line, we hope to open up in July.
That is terrific. It is quite the talk of the town.
It is.
It doesn't matter where I go, people are asking about it. And when I say skate park, it's pretty big compared to those around here.
5th largest in the country, the biggest in the state.
Wow. And right here in Warren.
Correct.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13I, request of the Police Department for an increase in budgeted revenues and appropriations in the amount of $165,207 to account for the receipt of a 2023 coronavirus SLFRF federal grant from the state of Michigan's Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards, MCOLS, consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
13J, request for the sanitation superintendent for a transfer of funds between line items in the amount of $270,200 to provide sufficient funding in the sanitation special revenue fund budget for the balance of the 2025 fiscal year. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13K, consideration and adoption of a resolution accepting the review panel recommendation to award bond counsel to Miller Canfield and approving an engagement letter with Miller Canfield. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13L, which was 4Q, proposed resolution providing public notice of intent to sell vacant tax reverted property at 23051 Bolin, Warren, Michigan, parcel ID number 1325453 036 for $1, subject to combination of 23059 Bolin, approving sale following 30-day notice period and accepting grant of easement rights, consideration and adoption of a resolution.
Motion to deny with discussion.
Support.
Discussion, Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you. In reviewing the documentation and the backup materials, and this is consistent for both of these items, they are both the same transfers. I'm no longer going to support any dollar home or dollar parcel giveaways. We have not only the land bank, which will evaluate all of these available parcels within the city. This one in particular there's a valuation of nearly $10,000, and documentation indicates a purchase price of $1 plus title costs. $1 doesn't cover the work it took to put this packet together. So this is just not a responsible path forward from this department, and so that is my reason to deny this and send this back to the administration. And the land bank, I'm certain, will have a good plan for bringing these parcels together and determining a path forward for rehabilitation and or rebuilding and revitalizing some of the neighborhoods where we have a number of these parcels that are vacant and underperforming. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. This is a motion to deny. So yes is to deny. Ms. Moore?
Yes to deny.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes to deny.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes to deny.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes, and I'm not supporting these giveaways.
Ms. McGee?
Yes to deny.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
13M, which was 4R, proposed resolution providing public notice of intent to sell vacant tax reverted property at 2803 Wellington, Warren, Michigan, parcel ID number 1336382 004 for $1, subject to combination with 20809 Wellington, approving sale following 30-day notice period and accepting grant of easement rights, consideration and adoption of a resolution.
Motion to deny with discussion.
Support.
Discussion, Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you. Through the chair to Ms. Michaels, please. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Council.
Thank you for being here. This parcel is industrial, it would appear. Or surrounded by industrial?
Yes, I'm told it's surrounded by businesses of use. There's a committee that reviews these lots, and in this case, selling it to the adjacent landowner was the best use. Normally planning like raises its hand and says, no, hold it for something better. But in this case, there were no alternative uses.
Okay. And looking at the sale history, back in 2015, it would appear that this was tax reverted. It was in the grantee of the treasurer of Macomb County to the city of Warren. I'm sorry, the grantor was the treasurer, and the grantee was the city of Warren. The sale price was $1.2 million.
If I may, that was
Yes,
a bulk,
please.
yes.
That,
Yes, Madam Chair, it was a bulk sale. I remember that year, I think we sold over 200 and some lots to one developer. And we purchased a number of lots. I think because of the economic downturn, we were offered, I mean, there were probably 300 lots. I could get you the exact figure.
okay, and so that was 1.2 for the entire batch of properties.
Correct, Councilman,
Okay.
yes.
Because looking at this, saying, well, we bought it for 1.2 and then we gave it away for $1, or we sold it for 10,000, certainly wouldn't seem to be responsible. I'm going to ask that instead of denying this, that we table this. Ms. Michaels, I'd like to speak to you further on this, and can tabling for 2 weeks.
Please, thank you.
I'm sorry, that will be 1 week. It just means we have to meet sooner.
Okay.
All right, so I'll ask to table this to the next meeting, May 20th.
Tabling. Support. Secretary Moore.
Thank you.
So we are tabling, so we're voting yes to table. Councilman Laverty,
Yes to table.
Councilwoman Moore? Yes to table?
Yes.
Okay, yes to table, okay.
Sorry.
Councilman Gary Boyke?
Yes to table.
Yes. Councilman Dwyer?
Yes to table.
And Councilman Newman?
Yes to table.
Councilman Melody McGee? Yes to table, and Rogacy in her absence. Next item?
Next item is audience participation for general topics.
Members of the audience who would like to address City Council this evening may do so under audience by filling out a general form on the right side of the stage. You have 3 minutes. There's a couple newer folks here. There is a timer up front, and at the 3 minutes, you'll be asked to end your comments. First is Sharmad Abdal, and then next, after that, is Maggie Huntone. You're good.
Good evening, council members. My name is Sarmad Abdal. I'm the owner of that BP gas station at 14 Orion. The reason why I'm here, I was trying to just make it the council aware that for some reason the city of Warren is keep adding more gas stations to the city. And according to some official numbers, it looks like the county in general have 280 gas stations, 76 of them in the city of Warren. And keep adding those monster gas stations like Speedways and Sheets sites. It's really hurting the small business. I've been in this location for the past 23 years. I'm a taxpayer. I think I have the right to my voice to be heard by the city council. And I consider just maybe looking at those businesses when they come to the corners and hurt the small business. It's really drive us out of business by adding all these gas stations. It's look like, are we turning all these Rite Aids building to gas stations? That's what happened yesterday in the Planning Commission. They're trying to turn 12 in DeQuinder to another Sheet gas stations. And across the street from my corner, this Rite Aid building is also, there's a proposal to put a Speedway gas station where there's 2 Speedway gas stations and 1 mile north, 1 mile west of that corner. By the way, there's 11 gas stations from the corner of 14 Orion. Do you think that we need another gas station? By asking customers, not one customer have that support for that building to make it a gas station. That's not adding anything to the community. And the most feedback I got from the customer is, why can't we have another drugstore? Or why can't we have an urgent care in that corner? And the demand is not there. If you look at the statistics of the gas jobbers, the volume is not there, to the fact that there's more EV cars and hybrid cars on the road too. So I just want to bring this to the council, maybe to consider it and save the small business from going down by adding all these monster gas stations. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Huntone, and then after that is Lori Harris.
Hi, my name is Maggie Huntone. I live in Warren, and I'm speaking tonight about the National Day of Prayer event that was held without a permit on May 1st on the sidewalk in front of the City Hall flagpole on City Square property. In a video announcing the location on the annual National Day of Prayer Warren, Michigan Facebook page, the admins of that page seem to have been advised no permit was necessary, possibly due to the confusing laws defining sidewalks discussed in an article by Michael C. Pollack in the Michigan Law Review. In one of their comments on my Facebook page, they said, quote, "We are not limited on where we can hold our event. It is our preference and our right," end quote. They also said, quote, "We can and will continue to decide when and where we host it," end quote. Those words indicate the possessive feeling of ownership, that's characteristic of Christian nationalism, as described by Professor Paul D. Miller of Georgetown University. In another comment, they said, quote, "The intersection of prayer and government is not separation of church and state," end quote. Mayor Stone agrees with the admins in one of her emails to me, quote, "As I assured you in previous communications, this event was neither a city-hosted nor city-sanctioned event, which means it did not violation a separation of church and state," end quote. And yes, did not violation is exactly what she wrote. In 2014, the Supreme Court used invocations before legislative session as an example of the intersection of prayer and government and said those are okay, but the National Day of Prayer is not part of a legislative session. In their own words, the admins assume the mantle of Christian nationalism, and they deny that performative religious rituals like praying breach the wall that, according to Thomas Jefferson, was built by the Establishment Clause in the First Amendment to the Constitution. Therefore, it is imperative that the new rules from the DDA for the atrium and from Parks and Rec for the City Square require all events and gatherings to have permits, and that those rules recognize and account for the need to keep the sidewalks in the City Square clear and unencumbered for the free access of people having business in the City Square, including City Hall, and for first responders in an emergency. As stated in its resolution during the November 12, 2024 meeting, Council wrote that the atrium should be used, quote, "for city affairs and avoid uses that expand the character and nature of the space and compromise the city's exercise of affairs in the area," end quote. And I expect the City Square neighborhoods will be similarly defined. The city is determined to put business and residential buildings in the City Square neighborhoods. So the new rules must make sure that commerce will not be impeded and the peace and safety of residents will not be compromised. I have sources for the Michael C. Pollack, Thomas Jefferson, and Paul D. Miller sites, as well as the Supreme Court site, and I will happily provide them if council requires. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Next is Lori Harris, and next after Ms. Harris is Amelia Vincente.
Good evening. I want to start tonight with really great news. It really doesn't matter to anybody, but I want people to have hope. My daughter's been fighting cancer, leukemia, for 5 years and 8 months. And last night she got results that she has 0 cancer cells in her test. So if you're struggling and you're fighting, keep fighting. And I know that has nothing to do with city council, but you know, we need some good news, and I'm really, really happy to have good news to share. But then to change the subject, I noticed that Warren has several marijuana businesses in violation for April. And that's just April, and that's only the ones they found. But I hope that we are concerned enough that we're going to be forcing, when these inspections happen through the building department and zoning, that they're going to be paying attention to these things. Having cartoon characters on edible cannabis products. For failing to submit required reporting forms. For $9,000 for failing to timely file its annual financial statement. We keep giving these extensions to these companies, and I've been saying we need to let them fail on their own. Let them have consequences to their actions. Quit giving them extensions. It just left. Anyway, I'm disturbed by these. I'm happy they were found, and I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. And we have a lot of work to do, and I don't think one person in the building department can handle all that. I also want to say to people listening that anything that you hear about religious persecution tonight is not true. And when you are ordered by the court to do something, you need to do it, and if you don't do it, there are consequences. So just remember that. There is not religious persecution in the city. The city conducts itself with fair business, and that's all I'm going to say. And remember, have hope. Keep fighting. Don't give up.
Thank you. Next is Amelia Vincente, and after that is Peyton Grant.
Good evening, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Amelia Vicente, a Warren resident, and I'm here to advocate for the continued operation of Motor City Bar and Grill. This was a topic that was discussed during last month's meeting. I understand that there's concerns have been raised regarding noise and traffic and has been labeled as a nuisance. I agree traffic can be hazardous, but I urge the council to consider a balanced approach versus disregarding it as it was last meeting, to address the issues without resorting to shutting down a small business. For over a decade, Motor City Bar and Grill has not just been a place to grab a drink, but a gathering spot for neighbors and friends, and provides a sense of community. In an age where social connection can be scarce, the establishment has fostered an environment of inclusivity and a place of celebration. Both staff members, musicians, patrons are all invested in keeping the bar alive because it adds value to our neighborhood and a way to go beyond entertainment. Instead of shutting down this cherished establishment, I propose that council could work together with the bar to find a solution to address the issues that were raised. Councilmember Moore at last month's meeting stated that suggested the bar changes the type of music that was played. I'm really not sure what was meant by that statement. Councilmember Moore has also stated the only thing we can do is shut it down, but perhaps we could explore more options. I understand that 200 calls were made regarding the bar, and it was labeled as a waste of resources for the police department. However, I believe there should have been a proactive approach by the police station. If we have people patrolling around the time of the bar that is closed, that it could have set a tone for patrons to understand the seriousness of the complaints that have been had. There's also a suggestion of adjusting the bar's hours. The bar is now closed on Sundays until football season, so that can eliminate a night, and maybe shutting down earlier compared to staying open later. The bar has been taking action. It does have security. that patrols the station, that is in the bar. There are signs that have been published, but I don't believe that the bar should be punished for what the patrons choose to do outside of the hours and outside of the bar. I'm hoping that council considers what the patrons have to say today regarding Motor City Bar and Grill, and I believe these changes can make a significant difference without needing to eliminate such a valuable establishment. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you. Next is Peyton Grant. This is also a business meeting, so if folks could refrain from clapping, that would be helpful. Thank you. Ms. Grant, you have the floor.
Good evening, Council. My name is Peyton Gant. I have been coming to these meetings for a while now for my civics class, and although I did not really understand the purpose of it in the beginning, I have found myself enjoying them. You guys display professionalism and a thorough understanding of Robert's Rules of Orders in your meetings, which makes it easy to watch and follow along. Before this school year, I underestimated the significance of local government. However, by coming to these meetings, I have now realized how important local government is and how needed your jobs are in this community. Not only that, I now know the significance of being involved in your community. Public safety, infrastructure, and education are things that affect us all, and through these bi-weekly meetings, you are bringing light to issues in our community, to those who do not know or show much involvement. So I just wanted to say thank you for all you have done for the City of Warren, for providing a learning opportunity for myself and all the others watching the live stream, and thank you for truly making this a safe and clean city.
Thank you, Peyton. Next is Wesley Arnold. After that is Michael Myers.
Wesley Arnold, historian, retired college professor. Thank you, Warren City Council, for your time and for your consideration. As historian, I've been watching city councils for many years, and I can tell the public that this council in particular pays attention, listens, and really makes effort to do a good job. So thank you for being a great city council. And I say that from experience. Thank you. Just a short item, Harvest Time Food Pantry, located on 9 Mile by Van Dyke, helps an average of 6,000 of our Warren citizens monthly. A recent action by the people with the Blight Squad confiscated their dumpster, which is used to dispose of waste, which was requested by the council and which they were in full compliance with. They also confiscated their refrigerated food truck, which is used to refrigerate food so it don't spoil, so they can give it out in the next day or two to the hundreds of people that go there. This action, to many of us, especially with these two items, appears to be really irresponsible and unnecessarily hurts many Warren citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Michael Myers. And after Michael Myers is Curtis Oshkosh.
Yes, my name is Michael, and I came here to support Harvest Time Christian Fellowship. I think it's a great church. I believe if more churches were like that church, this world would be a different place. They supply a lot of food and different items to the community. It's a great, great church. And I don't understand why things have been going on with the city, and I encourage the city to work with the church, because the church is there for the people, and we need more churches like this to help the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Oshkosh. After that is Jerry Bell.
Maybe it's on. There we go. Good evening, Council. Curtis Oshkosh from Harvest Time Christian Fellowship, pastor there. You know, I'm ashamed of my city. We were in court last Wednesday. The judge told us that he was going to adjourn things. A notice would be sent in the mail in a couple weeks. Then the Gestapo from the city comes and removes our property the next day. They complain about blight. They complain about this and that and the other. Confiscating and impounding our dumpsters. Is that going to make blight better or worse, or should we just throw our garbage in the middle of 9 Mile? We had a city inspector tell us we should get a dumpster. In fact, in court he said we should get a second one. But the one that we had, they took. We're supposed to have this new lawn cutting ordinance. The city took our lawnmower last week. How are we supposed to maintain our property when the city confiscates our lawnmower? And a whole bunch of other things, vehicles. I mean, there's evil actors within our cities. Some of the evil actors are right there above. And Ms. Rogency, I am extremely disappointed with you, because you told Channel 7, folks have complained there's food rotting, debris, garbage, unsanitary conditions on their property. That is a big fat lie. That's a lie. And you told Channel 7 that to make us look like bad guys and make the city look better? No, it's not going to work. This is horrible. There was no rotting food. They took vans, they took equipment, they took ladders, they took pallets, they took empty milk crates. We give out 80 pallets of food a week. Who's going to feed these people? Who's going to help these people? See, there is a North Warren and a South Warren. Sorry, Mr. Lafferty, that's just the way it is. The food insecure, the people that are right on the borderline of hungry or homeless. Who's going to take care of them? See, that's not your reality. That's not your lived experience. You don't understand it. You know, we went from hero to zero because in August of 2023, the former mayor gave us a proclamation for more than 30 years of service to this community, serving the needy, the poor on 9 Mile Road and Van Dyke. And all of a sudden now we're the villains. Shame on you. Shame on this city. Shame on the people that are running this. I mean, you have one person that says the dumpster's approved. One person takes it away. They took our lawnmower. Then the public service director lied to me too, because we were supposed to have this kumbaya meeting. My lawyer will tell you, and it'll come out in court at a later date and time, that we could meet. The city canceled the meeting, not us. But he says, if you guys would only meet with us, we could have worked this all out. That's a big fat lie.
Thank you, Mr. Oshkosh. You're at time. Have a good evening.
The city's disgusting for their actions.
Mr. Bell, you have 3 minutes. After that is, I believe it's Skylar Balakir. Ma'am, can you sit down? Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Bell.
Good evening. Jerry Bell. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Motor City Sports Bar as well as Harvest Time Christian Fellowship, which is Pastor Curtis's church that's been pretty much demonized by the city. And you, Angela Rogency, you have to understand, maybe you never experienced food insecurities. Maybe you never experienced that. And for you to attack this church the way that you guys are doing, that's really wrong. That's really wrong. There's much more things here in the city that you can work on to help make better. And I'm speaking to all you council members. I mean, the South End. We speak about the South End. We speak about Motor City Sports Bar. you guys want to put padlocks on it because someone was playing music in the parking lot. Well, at least that's what you claimed that they were doing. To me, in viewing the video, it seems to me whoever was playing that music was in that vehicle that day playing the little boombox. Because there's no way, if you look at that video, that that was a vehicle outside of that car that was playing that music in Motor City Sports Bar parking lot. Mindy Moore, you and I had a conversation, surprisingly, this past weekend. I thank you for even returning my call. But that call was in an attempt to resolve this issue because you were wrong. The description you gave to us of that parking lot is totally wrong. That parking lot is 3 sizes of their establishment. They have cameras that are linked to the police department. They have signage up. They've even went as far as putting a skirting on the fence. And they're willing to put a wall up. So why? Why did you not call them in to address this issue in front of us? So maybe therefore we could decide it with you all or either them. You should have brought them in. There's nothing wrong with that. You're too personally attached to this. And I'm beginning to wonder, was it you that took the video? Is it someone trying to close them down, maybe to open up a marijuana dispensary? Why are you so dead set focused on putting them out of business? I had to talk to this business owner on Sunday to hear her crying about you guys, what you all are trying to do to her business. Shame on you all. Come on, man. You should have went out and did your homework, Mindy, and you didn't. You let us down.
You're at time. Thank you, Mr. Bell. Next is Skylar. I think it's Skylar. And then after that is Oliver Gant.
Good evening. I would like to start by saying, as a person that has came from South Warren, grew up there my entire life, been through a lot of struggle, and Harvest Time Christian Fellowship is the church that I've been going to for about 7 years now, and they have helped me through a lot. They give out food to countless amount of people, a little over 6,000 a month. Now, from my standing point, when I was a child, in my house, I didn't have food growing up. So I went there, and that's how I survived, was going to that church. And the city of Warren wants to take away a whole bunch of things from them that makes life harder on them. Not only that, makes it harder for the community of Warren. See, now doesn't that sound a little bit messed up? Makes life stressful for a lot of other people besides just them. Even for myself. Because it's still like that for me. That kind of hurts me, man. I've been there for quite a long time. That will be it from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Oliver Gant, and then after that is Maria, looks like Nuculaj.
Good evening, and before you set your timer, I just want to say a couple of preliminary things to you guys.
So that you have 3 minutes total.
Okay,
Yep.
so again,
Starting now.
Excuse me. My name is Oliver Gant. I'm a community activist and spokesperson speaking tonight on behalf of Maria and her son, the owners of the Motor City Sports Bar located at 21231 Mile Road here in Warren. Also, my clients will be yielding their time to me. I don't see anything that's preventing them from doing that. I hadn't seen anything to stop them from yielding their 3 minutes to me. Okay?
So
I said I
each audience member is permitted 3 minutes.
That's fine, but I'm letting you know that they.
Each
Do
person.
you have anything that says they are not permitted to yield their time? That's a question.
No, it is our rules and procedures that
That's what I'm
every
asking.
person is given 3 minutes of time.
Okay, so is it a problem with my clients yielding their time to me to speak?
Yes, you have 3 minutes.
You're
And then
not-
everybody else has 3 minutes.
Okay, so they're gonna yield. Okay, I'm here tonight because of something deeply troubling. Other people have spoke on it, okay? Without any formal notice, citation, or communication, this council has moved to take action against a lawfully operating business under the guise of a nuisance ordinance. The owner only found out about this not through a letter or phone call, but by watching the news and by patrons. That is not just a procedural failure, it is a violation of due process. This is not how government is supposed to work. You don't ambush small business owners without notice. You don't threaten someone's livelihood without giving them a chance to respond, as the case here. I saw Channel 4. It was disturbing to me when I saw it. It made me pick up the telephone. Even more disturbing is that this campaign is being led by Council Secretary Mindy Moore, from what I'm understanding here, who reportedly made the comment that the bar should play country music and should change the kind of patrons it attracts. Let's be honest, that wasn't about music, was it? That was about race. That was about who you think belongs here and who doesn't. The patrons of this establishment are predominantly black. They support the business. They support this community, and they deserve the same respect and protection as any other group in this city. We will not stand silently while this council considers racially motivated actions masked as code enforcement. Tonight, we ask this council, 1, why wasn't the owner given notice of any complaint? 2, why is this matter being discussed in her absence? 3, and why is it acceptable for a member of this council, particularly Council Secretary Mindy Moore, to suggest that the culture and clientele of a business need to change to make her more comfortable? We demand transparency, accountability, and equal treatment, and we will continue to show up until we get it. Now, as I stated, and you all are permitted to address the audience in accordance with what you all have on paper. So I would like for Ms. Moore to address, if she so pleases to, because we want to understand, why would you make the comment about changing the music? To me, that's a racial overtone stating that in a predominantly black place that you would prefer country music. For what reason?
Mr. Gant, no one on council is permitted to respond except for.
Okay, you can respond. You can respond if you can.
That's anything I said, so I'm not.
Okay, so let's say here, I saw the news again. What I would like for you all to issue to this woman is a list detailing 250 police calls to her establishment. I want to see that list. You defame this woman's business. Furthermore, she has nothing to do with what goes on outside of her establishment, only what's on her property. She has been proactive to do the things necessary. Again, you've given this woman no due process. You just backdoored her and put it all out for the world to see on every news station. That's why I'm here today, and a lot of you know what I do. I come for results. We're going to get answers.
You're at time.
Thank you.
Maria is next, and after Maria is David.
Yes.
And yeah,
I yield my 3 minutes to Oliver Gant.
you can't,
Can I ask why?
because it's not how we do things, and that is not our rules and procedures. We've never done it, and it's not a precedence I'm going to start.
Okay, so what we would like to move,
Sir,
we would like
it's
for you to
not
make
an
a
open-
motion to
this-
do that. Add that. You
No,
can't yield those
there is,
moments. You
this is
can
not
yield
how
those
this
minutes.
works. Have a seat. Next is David. Maria, if you're passing, I will, David, you're next. You can't yield your time, but you can pass. Thank you. Next is Reba. If you all could have a seat, please, the next speaker's coming up. Thank you.
This evening.
Hi, Reba. You have the floor.
Okay. I'm here on behalf of Harvest Time Christian Fellowship. That is my church, and I volunteer there as well as go to church there. And my husband and I are involved in the youth group. We are leaders there. And I just want to say how much Harvest Time has really helped us and helped our community, let alone my own personal family and friends. My husband and I came to Harvest Time about 3 years ago, maybe a little less. And ever since we've been going there and helping, and we've seen such a difference in how like our community is. When the people come in and they need food or they need prayer or whatever it is they need help with, we're always there for them. And they really appreciate it. Pastor Curtis and Sue have helped so very much. They feed us every week, and they also feed a little more than 6,500 people. And the variety of the food that they feed includes fresh vegetables and fruits. We rarely ever see anything rotten, and if we do, it's because maybe it's just been there a little extra long because someone hadn't took it. They also have snacks and breads and canned foods, and I don't know of any food banks that I've been to that has as much food as they give out. And milk, not many pantries have milk. But my point is it helps people, and just like Skylar was saying, you know, there's been times that we haven't had food, and I have 3 kids at my house and a grandchild, and it helps us to feed them when we don't have money because our bills are ungodly. But anyways, they also help a ton of homeless people, and a lot of times, whatever it is that they need help with, or if they can't help them, they have references to other places that will. So generally, they do what they can. But our community is very blessed to have all the help that they give, and we work hard. Also, as we work with the youth group, it also keeps the kids out of the streets, and it gives them something to come to every Monday night. And it gives them a chance at a better life. So, sorry. Oh, also, like at Christmas time or any other holidays, they make sure that these kids, that parents can't buy them gifts or whatever, these kids get Easter baskets or Christmas presents, and we have little parties for them. We help however we can, so I think it's pretty yucky that we're getting treated the way we are, especially Curtis and Sue.
Thank you, Reba.
Thank
You're
you
out of
very
time.
much.
Have a good one. Jack Monteith? Teeth? And then after Jack is Celestine Lim.
Yeah, I'm part of Harvest Time Christian, and I wanted to speak a good word on their behalf also. They're very good at meeting the community where the community is at. They get out and help people on the street. They help the people that the rest of society overlooks, the widows and the fatherless. I'm part of youth leadership, and I've witnessed the youth program explode from just a few to now we got 20 to 30 every week. Every one of these kids come from broken homes, and Harvest Time Church gives them a place to get involved with the community, give them a wholesome alternative to keep them out of trouble, and teach them how a community can come together into more than just a community, into a family where those that have can share with those that have not, and at the end of the day, everybody can sleep with a full belly. Thank you.
Thank you. Celestine, and then after that is Corey Sarkissian.
Good evening, council members. Enough is enough. Stop wasting Warren City taxpayers' money in harassing an outstanding church, Harvest Time Christian Fellowship Church, that feeds at least 6,000 people every month, coming from different cities. Warren City officials should stop persecuting the church
Ma'am.
and the Christian, please.
Ma'am, we have a very, very new speaker, so
Huh?
if you could not pound, we have a very
Okay,
new
sorry,
speaker, it's
sorry.
very loud. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
sorry. Warren City officials should stop persecuting church and the Christians, but instead they should be helping such great church. Despite of its small area, Harvest Time is able to feed at least 6,000 many people coming from different cities too. Without Harvest Time's amazing food pantry, many people everywhere will go without food and go very hungry. Harvest Time helps many people not only with their foods, but also with their clothing, shelter, and other valuable resources. I always direct homeless people to Harvest Time Christian Church because they guide and support them. Hold on. They guide and support homeless people who lost their jobs, homes from unemployment, house fires, and foreclosures. Pastor Curtis and Lady Sue Ashtosh work their hardest to serve the people from Warren and other many cities. They provide some unemployment too to serve our community. You guys should sometime visit our small but very amazing church that makes Warren City a better place to live. Warren building management officials should help Harvest Time Church to prosper in their serving the public and stop harassing them, illegally towing the church trucks that transport thousands of pounds of food and other supplies is not cool and unacceptable and disgusting. Even though enough is enough, Warren City taxpayer money should be used accordingly to help the public. One best way to serve the public is to facilitate our amazing small church, Harvest Time Christian Fellowship Church, to prosper with the city's officials, with the Warren City's official support, like giving them more freedom to serve their public without being bullied by the abusive officials with their so-called power to fine our church in any way, in every way they can. Many Warren residents have been illegally harassed by this so-called building management and blight people. I, for one, was harassed, and I was accused of felony with driving a deadly weapon just because I want to check on my dog when they try to invade or whatever, attack my dead brother's house. One guy illegally towed my brother's
You're
van.
on time.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Corey Sarkisian. And then after that is Joel Vanderlinden.
Hello, I'm Corey Sarkisian. I've been a citizen of Warren for about a year now. I grew up in poverty and with food insecurity due to not having a father in my home. He was a veteran with PTSD and he ended up killing himself. And my mother tried very hard, but I grew up in Mount Clemens, and the food pantries out there, we just got bags of beans and cans and stuff like that. I was homeless last year, 2024, for a while until I was blessed with a home in Warren. And my grandma told me about a church that I should go volunteer at because they used to get food there when they lived out there. I went there, and the first day I went and volunteered, the youth group pastor was there. He told me about the youth group. I came, and my life has been changed because I've met people who would help me on my path with finding peace with the way my life was with God and stuff like that. And I found work through the church, thankfully, and I don't have to worry about food. Like, it's amazing, all the stuff that we got. I grew up a little bit malnourished because I never got any healthy vegetables, fruits and vegetables, and nobody could afford that in my family, and I was a little uneducated growing up, but you know, that's America for you. But once I came to Harvest Time, my life changed completely, and it's never been the same since. I ended up finding my wife through Harvest Time. I ended up finding work through Harvest Time, and now that I'm on a steady path to becoming successful, and I just give glory to God, and I'm thankful for all the people, the hardworking volunteers at Harvest Time, and I plead with you that you work with us more, please, and thank you, and that'll be all for me.
Thank you. Joel Vanderlinden.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. You all need all the prayers you can get. Back in the old days when America was being formed, when they said the separation of church and state, the idea of the matter was to allow anybody to practice any religion they wanted to, and that the state, the country, could not dictate, like Russia and other places, what religion. That was it. So all these protests about Jesus and being out on Mound Road or Prayer Day, and this is silly. This is picking a fight. This is the atheist Christian or atheist Democrats, Satanists getting together, trying to destroy our country. I mean, the Democrats are killing us. Let's think about it. They changed the word from abortion to women's rights. They get you to deny God, to deny Jesus, and tell you it's okay to kill your children. Is this the party that you guys want to support? Is this what you really want to teach? Our country was based on Northern European values, and that includes the Christian church. Now, all you people that have a problem with the Christian church because you don't like how you turned out, why did God make me this way? Why did God do this to me? Grow up and grow a pair. Cut it out. It's time to stand up for everybody, including the churches. Jesus states to Peter, "Do you love me?" Peter says, "Yes, I do." He says, "Feed my lamb." Jesus turns to Peter again. He says, "Peter, do you love me?" And Peter says, "Lord, you know I do." And Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." Thank you. Too many brain surgeries. And then the third time, Jesus asked, "Do you love me?" Peter says, "Yes." And he said, "Feed my sheep." All this man is trying to do is to feed Jesus' sheep, and that he should be commended for. As for property maintenance going and stuff like this, attacking them and stuff, they have grounds in which to do what they do. But are they certified?
You're at time, Mr.
How
Van der
many
Linden.
people read the
Have a-
International Property Maintenance
Have a good
Code
night, Mr.
and
Van der
are
Linden.
qualified?
Your time is up.
My time is up.
Have a
Okay.
good one. Thank you.
I apologize. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Father, Son, Holy
Ms.
Spirit.
Sanker, you're
amen.
next.
You need it.
One of the most beautiful things about America is our freedom to pray, individually or as a group, in public. We have assigned a day for this, called the National Day of Prayer. It's a national event. It takes place May 1st, but not in Warren, because we did not observe the National Day of Prayer. The White House did. Most communities did. Our neighboring city of Centerline did. We used to observe it with Mayor Fouts. It was a gala event. Hundreds of people, music, pastors, ministers, all gathered to worship God and to pray for one another, especially those in high places who make important decisions for us every day. At this rally, all faiths were represented. Why don't we observe it? We are a nation and a city of mostly Christians. The mayor should have observed this day. 1, because it's a national observance. 2, for the Christians in our city and not be guided by her own personal beliefs or lack of. Last year, the mayor and this council eagerly celebrated the gay community by giving them a parade. And also, they gave them a festival that caused a lot of negative controversy. And further, the mayor quickly took away the prayer station at City Hall when the atheists complained about it, even though they had their right to reason anti-Christian booth next to the prayer station. If you watch the government channel, you will see the mayor celebrates everyone's ethnicity and origin eagerly, listens to the wants of the atheists, but what about the Christian community? Google says we are still 60% Christians, and certainly the largest voting bloc, the Warren seniors, want to celebrate the National Day of Prayer as was done in past practice. It was not a local day of prayer, but a national day of prayer, celebrated by our president and the most distinguished citizens in America, but not here in Warren. Why are we not celebrating one nation under God and praying for our leaders who have an awesome responsibility? The people of Warren were not represented.
You're at time, Ms. Anchor.
As they
Have a
should
good
as a
evening.
Christian community.
Have a good evening.
We
Next item.
Next item is council response to audience.
Ms. Sanker, please have a seat. Ms. Sanker, please have a seat. Any council response? Thank you. Next item.
Next item, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.